Hello, Ivy. Ivy, good morning. Are you there?
Good morning, Dr. Smitha.
Yes, good morning. So I think around 28 participants are here. I need to share my screen. I'm using AHA slides, okay? So that will have some interactions. Ivy, I think are you talking to me? You're muted.
No,
It's
doctor,
it
I'm not. I'm.
I
I
it's
was just
fine.
fixing the settings so the mic will be open for the students.
Okay. Yeah, please keep it open. I hope my screen is visible now.
Yes, doctor.
Yeah, thank you. Winner of the quiz. Let me not do that. Yes. All right. I think I'm ready. There are 38 parts, 39. Okay. We will wait some time. Maybe should I open the camera or it's fine?
It's fine, doctor.
It's 47 now. Okay. I think we can start now. I hope you fixed everything, Ivy.
Yes, doctor. The microphone is already available for the participants.
Okay. Thank you so much. So I think it's time. It's already 12 and I'm starting. I'll be taking around 1 hour maximum because I have a class after this. All right. Good morning, everyone. I hope you can hear me.
Yeah, we can.
Very
Yeah,
good.
we can hear you, miss.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah,
So, how are you today?
I'm good.
Good. Thank you. So, let me introduce myself. I'm Dr. Smitha. I'm teaching psychology with Abu Dhabi University. I'm a very senior faculty here, almost 14 years. And I'm so happy to have all of you here. Today's topic, what we are going to discuss, is one of the most common issue among students. I hope you heard about phobia, exam anxiety, anxiety disorders, all this. So we'll be going to talk how we can manage, how we can use some what you call some psychological techniques or strategies to reduce exam anxiety. When I start, I'll be starting with a few questions. Before that, can you please scan this QR code? Please do that, everyone. I'll give you 1 minute so you can join the her slides. All right. I hope you're done with it. Can I move on? Okay. I have a question for you. I want you to answer, all of you, and read the question first. Whatever coming to your mind first, that should be your response, the very first response. So I'm moving to the next question. There's one more question for you. So I have seen a very few responses saying yes, and most of them said no. Okay, but I feel still this session will be helpful for you. And I'm so glad that you joined us for this session. And I think you will find this information very helpful. So, our focus will be we will talk a little bit about the importance of mental health. We'll also talk a little bit about how we can manage anxiety. All right. What is mental health? I know it's a buzzword now. Everywhere you can hear, especially after COVID, people give a lot of importance, a lot of talk about mental health. And if you look at the overall statistics of UAE, around 42% of the UAE employee population is suffering with one or the other kind of anxiety disorders. So it's a concern. And the government is also taking a lot of initiative to help people to deal with or to maintain their well-being and mental health. It says that like World Health Organization or WHO, according to them, there is no health without mental health. And health, uh, you can say that you're healthy. You have to be physically, mentally, and socially healthy. Then only you can say, I am a healthy person. Usually, people think, like in my age group, they always think, like, oh, I don't have any physical illness, so I'm healthy. That is an old story now. You have to be physically, mentally, and socially healthy to say that you are a healthy individual. Okay. And World Health Organization says that mental health is a state of well-being. Well-being means If you're thinking like it's only physical well-being, which is no, we have to be physically well. Emotional well-being is important. Spiritual well-being is important. Social and intellectual. I'm just avoiding occupational because now occupational intelligence is not for you. I know, I think these are all high school students. Okay. So we will be focusing spiritual, social, intellectual, physical, and emotional well-being today. And if you're in a state of well-being, the importance is you will be able to cope with normal stress in your life. As a student, you can give your best, like, in the classrooms and exams. After all, your performance will be very good. Plus, as a teenager, you can contribute well to the society. That is a benefit of having a proper mental health. So, again, the study says that students with positive mental health, they are very productive in their studies. They can use their full potential. Some of you might be very good. You have high intelligence. Your memory will be very high. All your cognitive abilities, including your cognition, your attention span. But because of the lack of poor self-esteem or lack of confidence, you are not able to give your best performance. Okay. But people with high mental health is again very positively related with your self-esteem. Also, this can avoid student dropouts. And one of the most important thing is this can help students to reduce risky behavior. So, who are the ones engaged in risky behaviors? See, maybe I don't know whether you heard about teenage years is a time of stress and storm. Have you heard this from your parents or teachers? It's considered as a period of stress and storm. Hmm? Am I right?
Yes, ma'am.
Mm.
Yes, ma'am.
I
Yeah. Do
didn't
you
hear
know
this.
why? Yes. Do you know why people think like that? What is the reason? What is the reason?
The reason for risky behavior?
Yeah, all you people have a tendency to engage in all type of irrational behavior. Why they are doing this? What is the reason of this? So let
Hormonal
us go.
changes.
Hormonal changes, exactly. That is one of the reason. And apart from that, you learn the structure of human brain. And maybe you heard about the importance of amygdala and frontal cortex. Amygdala is the center of all our emotions, like our positive and negative emotions. All the high emotions are processing in this center. Okay, whereas prefrontal cortex is called intellectual brain, and your ability to take decisions, your ability to understand the situations, comprehend information, solve problems, memorize, interact with people, everything is controlled by this part of the brain. But during the teenage years, you heard like girls mature very fast, boys, the maturity is slowly. So that is the reason, again, it's very difficult to manage boys during these years than girls. So, uh, during these teenage years, your amygdala, that is the emotional processing center, get matured fully. The full development take place, and emotions are full-fledged in your brain. Okay, that's why you become very sensitive. You have the feeling of invincibility. All this is happening because of that. And some girls or even teenagers, they have a tendency to engage in all kind of risky behavior because they feel like I want to try everything. I want to see how things work. Unwanted pregnancies, drug addictions, alcoholism, all this started during this phase. Whereas the prefrontal cortex, this intellectual brain, is still developing. this development will it's progressing, and the completion of this part will usually happen in between 24 to 26 years. Okay, but when you reach around 18 to 20, that time at least a certain development is already completed and the prefrontal cortex is able to control amygdala. So, because of the underdeveloped intellectual brain and the completely developed amygdala, you find it difficult to control your emotions. That is the reason the teenagers get into kind of risky behaviors, and they consider this as a period of stress and stop. So if parents are dealing with these children properly, if they are having a lot of patience and helping them to deal with the situations, maybe you can reduce the stress. Otherwise, it will be really, very much incidental. Like a lot of things happen during this phase. Understood? Is it clear? Do you understand the
Yes,
reason?
ma'am.
This is the main
Yes.
cause
Yes.
because amygdala always have a tendency to hijack. Even elders, why they are losing their temper in between, the amygdala have a tendency to hijack your intellectual brain, and that's why sometimes you're blind. And we need to understand that this prefrontal cortex or part of prefrontal cortex, we call it cerebral cortex. This part of the brain is something which is making you human. Okay, if anything happened to that part of the brain, can can lead to severe behavior problems. I try to explain it in a very simple way. I hope you understood the logic behind it.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. All right, so we will move to the next slide. Here we talk about the test anxiety. So according to Association of Anxiety and Depression, American Association, they said that test anxiety is very similar to performance anxiety. And this is very common with female than male. That's what the studies prove. And according to the statistics, around 69% of the students experience one or the other kind of exam anxiety. Okay, so what is it like? The students experience a kind of tension, apprehensiveness while taking the test, and because of the tension or that kind of changes what is happening in the mind, they forget. They have a tendency to forget whatever they learned, and this can lead to poor test performance. So that is test anxiety. Um, these students, those who have high test anxiety, they always avoid their exams or they have a tendency to procrastinate. Also, these students struggle to recollect or retrieve the information, whatever they learned throughout the semester or throughout the time. They find it very difficult to retrieve the information because the anxiety started or the stress started interfering their performance during exam. Okay, so these are the negative impact of test anxiety. And if you look at the causes, you tell me what are the causes of test anxiety? You tell me. You can open your mouth and tell me what are the causes.
Hard
Maybe
subjects.
sense of expectation.
Yeah, too much expectation. Correct. What else?
Thinking
Pressure
that the
from
exam will
parents.
be too difficult.
Yeah, think like you started thinking like exam is going to be very difficult. It's just a thought only. Yes. What else?
Not being confident in yourself,
So here, can you repeat it?
not being confident in yourself,
Yeah, while reading the question paper, you find a kind of confusion and you feel like you are not able to comprehend what you are reading.
The
Very
fear of
good.
failure.
Fear of failure, exactly. If I'm going to fail, what happens? What else?
Pressure.
A
mental
kind of
breakdown.
pressure. Yeah. Too much of
Fear
pressure
of
from
rejection.
parents.
Mental breakdown.
When you have learned a lot of material and a lot of
I
information.
Yes, you have a tendency to forget if you learn a lot of information. Are you getting pressure from your parents?
No.
Yes.
No.
No.
Oh, that's good. That's
Yes.
cool. I think this generation parents are different. It's not like our generation. During my time, we used to get a lot of pressure from our parents. If you are not getting 100 on 100, that's it. So it's good to hear that the parents are not pressurizing the kids. So that is again one of the like, otherwise, some students have their own high expectations. I have students in my class who miss, if I'm not getting any, I cannot even think about it. All right. Even if it is A or B plus, it's fine because I believe this academic course will be helpful only to get admission for higher education or the next phase of your life. And nobody is going to check your marks or grades in later stage. When you go for interviews and all, I don't think, I never experienced, nobody asked my transcript or anything like that. So just helpful for you to get into the next phase, maybe to get a admission in a good college. But that's it. But that is important. But if you have so much of anxiety, you need to think like that. All right. So you all said that various points. And some students, the real cause of their test anxiety is lack of preparation because they have a tendency to procrastinate. They think like, oh, I will learn tomorrow, and the tomorrow will never come. And the day before exam, throughout night, they sit and try to read, and they find it difficult to comprehend what they are reading, and they go without proper preparation, which can cause a lot of stress. So it's always good. The one of my strategy is whatever you are learning from your class, learn it then and there. Don't keep it for tomorrow, or don't think like I will study before exams, which won't work. Even if you're so intelligent, if your IQ is 140, you cannot do that. Okay, so learn then and there. After the class or before the class, just read your lessons before you go to class. Listen to the teacher properly. Once you get back home, revise it. That's enough. All right, then previous negative experiences. Maybe some people they find it very difficult to accept failures, and if they had any negative experiences, that can trigger their fear when they write their next exam. Okay, how we can identify test anxiety. So some students they have only physiological symptoms. Some of us experience both physiological and psychological symptoms. So what are the physiological symptoms? Like what do you feel in your body? Uh, Maybe you notice this. Some people before exam they always want to go to toilet. Okay, they go to restroom in between because they have stomach upset. And some of you have, you try to control your breath, but you experience a rapid breathing. Some of you have sleep problem. You find it very difficult to get into sleep. Even you sleep, you wake up immediately, and again going back to sleep would be really difficult for you. And some people have severe headache. Because of the headache, they find it very difficult to focus on the question paper. And when you touch your body, you feel like the body is so cold and your palms are very sweaty and you experience muscle tension, heart rate. The person who is sitting near you, they can hear your heart rate. It's beating so fast. And some people even experience back pain. And what are the psychological problems? That is really bad. How do you experience? What do you experience? Psychological thing, you know, symptoms. What are the various?
Forgetting the answers and whatever you have
Yes,
learned, you only forget it.
yes. That is the worst thing happened during exam, right? So they learned everything and they feel like it's tip of their tongue. And when they try to retrieve it, they find a kind of block. They're so confused. Some students, they are very confused when they read the question paper and they blame. I have seen, oh, miss, your questions are very confusing. They have a tendency, even because of their anxiety, they have a tendency to blame others. So, very confusing memory block. That's why they become so irritable. Oh, look at that. I'm not able to understand anything. Your questions are very confusing. And they find it difficult to concentrate because of all this stress, irritable feeling inside. They cannot concentrate fully on the questions. And one of the most common cause of exam failure is the students are not comprehending the exam properly, misunderstanding the question. And it happens to you as well, maybe. Or after the exam, when you read the question paper, oh, this was I feel like, oh, I misinterpret the meaning. Kind of, right? So this is the reason. The reason is your anxiety and poor judgment, and they feel very frustrated and completely blank out. And some very few unlucky ones, they even faint during exam. All right. There is one more question. I think, please answer. Everybody, please try to answer. I have to see the answers here. I don't know why I'm not able to see here. I'm able to see only from my phone. Are you able to answer this?
Yes. Can you send the link on the chat?
Usually the answers come here itself, but I'm not sure why it is not appearing, but I'll be able to see it. Okay, all the students answered. Fine. All right. The next question is, if I'm asking you to, oh, this is the one you answered, right?
Yes. The same.
Yeah.
Yes.
So next one, as you think about your experience with anxiety, what score would you give to yourself? Okay. It's flat and strongly disagree. So majority, I can say above 5 is quite peak. Okay. So if your score is just 1, that means that you have a sense of complete calm and confidence about test taking. Okay. If your score is 10, very few I have seen, you're extremely stressed. You go to, especially when you go for test, okay, you find it really hard to remember things, which is not good. But what I have seen, majority of the students are falling here in between 5 and 9. if you're falling between 6 and 7, that is moderate level of anxiety, which is good. Do you know the study says that if a student anxiety is in the moderate level, they give their best performance. So moderate level of arousal, moderate level of anxiety is very good to give the best performance. So that is what I have seen in the picture. Majority of you were falling in that category, and very few were in number one, and a good number were in number 10 as well. Great. So I hope this session will be helpful for you. Now we talk about, so we already discussed what is test anxiety, what are the various symptoms. We also try to measure your level of anxiety. And now it's time for us to move to how we can manage it. So I'm going to give you some very simple psychological strategies. And the very first one is cognitive restructuring. Cognitive restructuring is one of the, maybe you heard about human brain have a tendency to think everything in a negative way. Have you heard about that? It's a natural tendency of our brain to take things in a negative way. Have you heard about this? And
No,
people who
honestly.
have
No.
Okay, no. Yeah, it's a natural tendency, okay? And people who have left side activation more, they are very positive, and right sided, like if they have high activation or stimulation on right side, they tend to be quite negative. That is the nature. So nothing to worry if we are a little bit negative. But you also heard that new brain is having that neural plasticity. Neural plasticity means at any age, you can modify your behavior, which is possible. All right. So, cognitive restructuring is a technique. We are trying to restructure our negative thoughts into positive way. It's kind of self-talk. So, what do you do? Whenever you get a negative feeling, you try to restructure that thought process in a positive way. But if you wanted to restructure, and above all, it's so important that you have to convince your own self. That is important. So, to convince yourself, you have to engage in some Socratic questioning. That is a very effective cognitive restructuring technique that you are helping yourself to challenge your irrational, illogical, or unhelpful thinking pattern. Okay, so suppose if you feel like I'm really scared to answer the questions during the session. So your first thought should be, is this thought realistic? Are you really scared? The second Socratic question can be, do I have evidence like why I am thinking like that? I'm not feeling anything. I'm feeling cool. I'm not seeing any changes in the body. So do I have evidence? Am I really misinterpreting the situation? Okay, you just challenge your thoughts. Or is it my habit? I always think in a negative way. Is it my habit? Try to find fact or evidence to support your negative thoughts. So you can come up with a lot of such questions. Then, um, suppose if you think like I'm really afraid, okay, I'm really scared. So your positive restructure can be, I feel afraid in a lot of situations where nothing bad happens. This is how you restructure your negative thoughts into positive. Are you getting me?
Yes.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
I'm going to give you another example. You have to give a speech in your family gathering, and there are around 50 family members in that meeting, and you feel like you are so nervous and you're thinking like you're so nervous. Okay, that is your current thought process. How do you change that negative thought into positive?
I'm just talking
So,
to my family.
yeah, I'm talking to my family. Why should I be scared? That's a very good one. What else?
Talk to my parents.
Talk to your parents and maybe they can help you to ease your tension. All right. Okay. So let us do one sample here. See, what I'm going to say is negative thoughts always lead to negative emotion. That leads to negative behavior. And the triggering event is you have to give a work presentation. So, this is the question. I'm going to mess up my presentation because I don't speak in front of group well. This is your negative thought. How you are going to restructure this and make it positive. I could see that more than 50% of the students they typed, they came up with their answers, but I can see here, I'm not able to see everything here. Before that, let me go back. See, this was the situation I have given to you. Okay, the negative thought was uh, it's always what you think during the situation, and the triggering event is giving a work presentation. Okay, example, I'm going to mess up my presentation because I don't speak in front of group well. That was a negative thought. And the negative behavior was you can't articulate thoughts for presentation and stumble throughout. And negative emotion, what was your feeling? You were extremely nervous and have a sense of impending doom. So, this is an example of how negative thought cause negative emotions and behavior. I hope you're following me. And using cognitive restructuring, how we can change this. See, this is the positive thought. So, I would say, when I try to restructure my thought, I would say, I practiced a lot. And I have seen students have written that. I practiced a lot and I can give a good presentation. Okay, that is a positive thought. So, apparently, what happened to the behavior? I give a solid presentation with minimal mistake. And what is my feeling now? I feel confident because I prepared so well. You got it. So always your thoughts, it's so connected. Your thoughts are reflecting in your behavior and which reflect in your emotion as well. If you're thinking I'm going to mess up, definitely you feel nervous and that reflect in your behavior while doing the presentation. That is the connection. So thoughts means what you think in a situation. I am a worse friend. And the emotion is how you feel. I feel sad and hopeless. And the behavior is how you act in the situation. Okay? You try to isolate and withdraw from people. So the learning should be after doing this activity, what you have to learn from this cognitive restructuring activity is you will get a lot of automatic thoughts which you are not aware about it. Okay, all this happened explicitly. We have no control and we are not conscious about it. And these thoughts, automatic thoughts, are affecting your own feelings. That's why we are developing that nervousness and fear. And if you are not confident to do exam or presentation, that will reflect in your behavior, which can interfere your performance. Is it clear, guys?
Yes, ma'am, it's clear.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is how the thoughts and mind works. And here, the very next point is once you start restructuring your negative thoughts into positive, it's so important that we need to fix our mindset, or we call it attitude. What is attitude? Tell me. What is attitude?
Behavior towards the
The way
situation.
situations.
Okay, so what I heard from you is your maybe your beliefs or your feelings or thoughts towards somebody or some institutions or something. Attitude can be favorable, unfavorable, positive, or negative, isn't it? The mindset is also similar to that. So, what we are going to do now, I want somebody to read this for me.
Can I?
Yes, go ahead.
So, do I start from as you begin your process?
You can read all the red uh, sentences, all the
We need to
points.
take
Go ahead.
we need to take responsibility for our own choices regarding test anxiety. Growth and development involves a process. We
Hmm.
are all creatures of habit and patterns, but we have the capacity to change. You
Yeah.
can teach an old dog new tricks. You just need really good treats. A change of lifestyle patterns and thoughts comes with reputation and practice. We
Hmm.
reap what we sow, the seeds, new thoughts and strategies we plant and water in our garden today are going to be the flowers, reducing anxiety we enjoy later.
Yes. So I hope the entire students, those who are sitting here, you understood what she read for you. Thank you so much, dear. And now from someone else, I want to hear, do you agree with this statement? Tell me, do you agree with this statement? See, you know the meaning of each statement, right? If I
Yes.
summarize what I, mm. So we are responsible for all our actions. If you are anxious, if you are depressed, if you are nervous, if you are a successful student without any anxiety, nervousness, it's all your own responsibility. You cannot blame anyone. And similarly, what they said is you can cultivate behavior. It's an ongoing process. So what we reap is what we sow. Okay. Now, as you said, you already agree with this statement. And I don't want you to forget the session after attending the session. Okay. I want you to practice it in your day-to-day life, especially those who are suffering with kind of little bit of anxiety. You will become very positive and confident in your life. That is the first step towards success. Being very positive, being very confident. Okay, students. So I'm moving to the next slide. We are talking about the various strategies which we can use to reduce anxiety. Okay. We talk about cognitive restructuring, mindset and attitude change. And third one is progressive muscle relaxation technique, PMR. And this is one of the most popular technique. See, we don't have much time to practice it now because it's a very lengthy process. It takes more than 25 minutes to practice. But if you're searching progressive muscle relaxation in internet, you will even get videos, guided videos, so that you can practice at home. So let me tell you what is this. Uh, Therapist, what they do when they do therapy, they help the patient to identify all major muscles in the body. Okay, then they tense it. For example, um, I want Arva.
Yes.
Arva, yes. So I'm going to say one step for you. I want you to do
Okay.
that. When I say this, I want you to practice it. Can you clench your fist? Tightly clench it. Clench it. Clench your fist very tightly, okay? Hold it.
Okay.
Hold it. And slowly you let it go. Very slowly. Let it go. All right. How do you feel now? The tension in your arms, and when you relieve it, how do you felt? Is there any change, or were you
Um.
tensed?
Yeah. Very tense.
You were tensed. But after
Yeah.
doing this exercise, do you feel any change in your mind or body? Just one step only you did.
Yes.
Okay. So similarly, when you do progressive muscle relaxation, you pick all the major muscles like, the calves, the leg, the thigh, the stomach, chest, forehead, lip, hands, fist, everything. You tense it, you hold it, then you relax it. And especially if you are doing with a guided practitioner, it will be so beneficial for you. Okay, this is something which you can practice at home. That is one way we can relax ourselves. And other one is maybe you heard about breathing techniques. Have you heard
Yes,
about
I
that? I
heard.
didn't. Yes, breathing techniques. I remember when I was small, my father used to tell me you have to practice breathing techniques. It's very helpful for you. So I was thinking, what is that breathing will help us? I never had any clue about it. But when I learned psychology in my bachelor's, I understood the importance of this. So I'm going to explain the the biological aspect of how this breathing will be beneficial for our brain. Arva, can you mute yourself, dear?
Yes. Okay. Sorry.
So, see, when you have you heard about sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system? Maybe you learned this in school. Sympathetic and parasympathetic
No,
nervous system.
I
No.
didn't
No.
learn it.
I think I did,
Okay.
but I don't. I think I
You
did, but
don't
I don't
remember.
remember.
Yes. So, sympathetic nervous system is something, it's part of your nervous system that will arouse your body, like fight or flight response. For example, you're walking and suddenly you saw something very frightening. You're getting that energy to run, or you're recognizing the danger and you're running because of that sympathetic nervous system. Okay, so sympathetic nervous system always arouse your body for fight or flight response. Even when you experience stress, the sympathetic nervous system get activated so badly. That's why we feel stress. All right. Now, parasympathetic nervous system do the opposite. So parasympathetic nervous system help your body to relax. And when you do breathing, when you take a deep breath, you hold it, okay, hold it for 10 seconds or 20 seconds, and you slowly release it. this is the time you're really activating your parasympathetic nervous system. You're stimulating the parasympathetic nervous system, which automatically calm your body. And because of that, only this cortisol and all the happy hormones like a dopamine, all these are getting released in your body. Understood? So that is a benefit. That is a biology of breathing. If you practice breathing, you can see the difference. Just practice it. This is the very right age you can start practicing such things. Okay, once you start practicing breathing techniques, eventually you get into meditation. And meditation is such an awesome process, you know. You can even understand more about yourself, and also that will help you to grow your intellectual brain. Mindfulness is that helpful. I hope you understood, you learned the importance of breathing, which we can practice very much. You know, you are not going to spend any money, you're not going to gym or anywhere. Even during exams, in the classroom, at home, anywhere you can practice this. Now we talk about mind vacation. I know that you all enjoy your vacation. Yearly once or twice you go for your vacations. And that is a beautiful memories in your life. Okay, you write good memories during your vacations. I know that. But even we can do mind vacations. Maybe first time you'll be thinking about this. Okay. And once you experience this, you really understand, you really feel the difference. So I want somebody to imagine that you are just standing on a seashore. Okay. Just you're standing there. You experience the place, and you also have to visualize what you're seeing around you. Maybe you can see people very happily running, children are running around. You can also see the tides. The sea is very blue in color, so beautiful. It's so infinite. You can also hear the chirping of birds. You can have a pleasant smell, and you feel really warm. And you can feel the gentle breeze across your face. Okay, you just imagine all this. You really get into that place. And this is again a very good exercise which you can do at any place. Even if you're sitting in a bus, even if you're sitting in the exam hall, take just a few minutes and you try this. You feel so relaxed. Okay, this is a way that you shift your tense mind or anxious mind to a very cool, relaxing mind. Okay, this is another thing which is doable. We are talking about only things which you can practice without any so much of effort or money. All right. So I have one more question for you. What is a cognitive restructuring technique that helps challenge irrational thinking errors? You tell me the answer. What is your answer? Yes, students, what is your answer?
Socratic questioning.
Yes, yes. Thank you. So
My
moving,
question,
mm, Yes, so moving to the next strategy, we talk about relaxation technique, we talk about what are the other techniques we discussed so far? Cognitive restructuring, progressive muscle relaxation, deep breathe, and mind vacation. Now we need to, initially when I started this presentation, I told you we are going to focus on a balanced life. So every individual, the wellness wheel is so important. And the size of this wellness vary during different phases of your life. As a student life, your intellectual wellness or intellectual brain should be very sharp. Okay, so what you have to do to cultivate that intellectual wellness? We'll also talk about social, physical, emotional, and spiritual wellness. So, the very first thing is we will focus on physical health. Eating is one of the major issue over here. Most of the young generation, if you ask them, what is your favorite food? What would be the answer? What is your favorite food? Tell me, what
Rice
is
and
your favorite?
zucchini.
Curries.
I'm not able to hear this.
Rice and zucchini
Curries.
for me.
Okay, I heard a little bit of rice and potato, pasta. All right. Oh, that's good. That's
Rice.
good. You didn't say you like other junk food, burger or KFC, all this. Anyway, so for your physical health, eating healthy food is so important. Eat very colorful meals. Colorful, vegetable you need to include. That's why we need to focus on the food pyramid. Okay. So if you look at the base, you need to eat a lot of vegetables, fruits, and grains. If you look at the middle of the pyramid, you need to eat uh, cheese, meat, milk, which is essential, all these products. Then if you look at the top, which is so less, it's only 10 percentage. You can only eat 10 percentage of this product, like high salty, like chips and all, and high sugary items like, um, cakes or chocolates or ice creams. That should be only 10 percentage. So proper food is so important. And water. Water is something, the majority of your body, maybe 90 percentage of your body consists of water, and you always have to hydrate your body, which is so important. So 6 to 8 glasses of water a day. Make sure that you're drinking this much water. And are you regularly doing exercise? Tell me, show me your hands. How many of you do exercise in day-to-day base? Raise your hand. Let me know. Only one, two, three, four. Okay. Yes, it's five. Yeah, yeah, no, good number. Good number. 11 students. Good, 12. All right. You know the importance of doing exercise. When you do exercise, what happened to the body? That increase the productivity of endorphins, serotonin. Somebody mentioned that. And you feel naturally, you feel so good. These happy chemicals or happy hormones give you a kind of positive energy and right mood throughout the day. Okay, so exercise is so important, at least 20 minutes. If you don't like to go to gym, do some aerobics at home. A lot of things are available on YouTube. Just play something and dance in front of the TV. That's enough. And relaxation technique. As you learn today, progressive muscle relaxation, please practice it. Okay. All these are very helpful for us to enhance your mood, improve our overall confidence and self-esteem. So this is about physical health. And again, there is some more information about food. What are the food you really need to remove from your diet, which can cause anxiety? If you are a person who suffer with a little bit of anxiety, you should avoid taking too much of coffee because the caffeine, you know that caffeine is a stimulant that stimulate your body, and after drinking that keep you awake. That is fine. But if you are not sleeping and if you're awake with a lot of energy, which can eventually cause tiredness, irritability, and agitation. So it's always good to control the intake of caffeine. Then sugar intake. Some of you might, you have the habit of eating a lot of sugary items after a very stressful day. Or if you want to celebrate something very happy, probably you go and grab some ice creams or chocolates. People celebrate with sweet items. Do you think it's good? It's a good practice if you take one or two, that is fine. But if you may take it a habit, because always the sugar have a tendency to rush you with a lot of energy. Okay, you feel that you're so energetic after taking it, but did you observe your body after 1 hour? Your body will be so sluggish, your body will be so nervous, you feel so tired and anxious. Okay, so it will give you only an instant energy, but after that, you feel the opposite. You even feel depressed. So, better we can avoid it. Similarly, alcohol, I know that I don't need to mention about this, but this caffeine, alcohol, all these are psychoactive drugs which will directly affect your brain cells. So anything which is directly affecting your brain cells can cause kind of irritability or any other kind of brain disorders. And anything which is happening to your brain will reflect in your behavior. And that's why we call it behavioral problems or kind of psychological disorders. Okay, so try to be away from all this, even smoking. Nicotine is there in cigarettes, coffee, too much of coffee, caffeine is there, alcohol, it's another kind of stimulant. Okay, all these are directly affecting your nervous system. So it's not good for our brain and nervous system. Okay, what are the brain foods? How this is helpful for you? Grains, nuts, especially walnuts, almonds. Almonds are really good. You can soak in overnight, you soak it in water, and early morning you can have 5 to 6 almonds in empty stomach. Especially during childhood, if you are taking this, it can even prevent Alzheimer's disease. You know what is Alzheimer's disease? Alzheimer's?
No.
Yes. Yeah.
It's a memory disorder.
They keep forgetting.
Yeah, they keep forgetting.
Uh,
Yeah. So these patients, they find it very difficult to remember. It's an old age disease, but nowadays, even at the age of 40, people are diagnosed with Alzheimer's simply because of their life. They are living a very unhealthy life. That is the reason. And all the pressure and stress, whatever they are going through their life. Berries, especially blueberries, are too good for your brain. Your brain would love you if you're eating all this. If you're feeding your brain with grains, nuts, almonds, and berries, and pumpkin seeds, sunflower seeds, all these are good. Okay, these are the brain foods which we can consume on daily basis. Okay, that is physical health. Now let us focus on emotional health. There are people here, maybe you will be very revengeful if somebody, or you'll be very negative. Okay, if you are so negative, if you are so revengeful, if you don't forget or forgive to others, all this can cause a kind of clutter in your mind. Do you know that mental hygiene is so important? See, children, maybe you know that we are doing a lot for our body. Maybe even your parents, they give you medicine to cleanse your body. Sometimes you take some some kind of medicines or drinks that can, cleanse your entire body and system. But are we doing anything to cleanse your mind? Especially all these negative feelings like grudges, anger, all this can clutter your mind. Do you know why some people are so irritable? When you talk to them, they are so irritable. They don't have patience. They lose their temper very fast. Maybe you might be complaining that I'm so irritable. I lose my temper very fast. I have anger issues. What is the major reason? Because they are not cleansing. Mental hygiene is so important. You have to keep a hygienic mindset. For that, you have to practice forgiveness of self and others. And always you need to find something you are so passionate about. It can be an art. Maybe you love to draw, you love to sing, you love to dance, whatever. And set healthy boundaries, even to friendship. If you are getting a lot of peer pressure to smoke, oh, let us hang over, let us enjoy our day. We will go for a party, we will drink, we will smoke, we will try something new. Please say no to such peer pressure. Okay, say a big, you have to be assertive and develop a few really good friendship. You should know who is good. Only you will be able to find it out. And always, nowadays, I observe with my students, they feel like they don't trust anybody. Even that itself is a negative feeling, not trusting others. You can find good people among yourself. Okay, so if you have any problem, anything which is really bothering you, please open it. You have to talk to somebody. When you talk, when you just release all that negative energy, you feel very relaxed. Okay, it's always good to alleviate all kind of such negativity from inside. You talk to people. You share with another person. They will give you very good strategies, which will be very helpful for you. And even talking, just speak out what you have inside. That itself is good. And if you serve others, if you support others, helping others, doing something good for others, all this will give you a lot of positivity in life. Okay, this is the way you can maintain your emotional health. I have mentioned here sharing your feeling with others. Maybe it sounds bad, but it is good. You are just, otherwise, what will happen? You keep all this inside. Everything, all this negativity is inside. And one day, what will happen? It will burst. It will get burst like a balloon. It will get burst out. Next one is intellectual health. What are you doing to improve your intelligence? I know that you are attending classes, you're going to school, you're taking different subjects. Apart from that, what are you doing? What are the other activities you do to improve your intellectual well-being? Tell me. You might think I have so much to learn. Why she's asking this question? You can still learn something new apart from your daily routine. Just learn something new. Maybe some of you will be learning any instruments, dance, any extracurricular activities, wrestling, kickboxing, something like that. Okay? All this will be
Dancing.
helpful. Or dancing, or talking to a person who is very intelligent, or listening to podcast, listening, watching good videos. All this will feed your intellectual brain. Okay, you will, how much information your brain can store in number of information. You know the capacity of the human brain. It's too huge. So don't worry about that. You cannot carry much. You can, you have the ability. Only thing is you constantly feed your brain. Okay, for that, you need to develop the love of learning. New learning is always good, surrounded with people who can challenge you. Okay, don't go for the comfort zone. Always talk to people who can challenge you. Seek out opportunities. opportunities to expand your mind. Like for example, see now you're attending this. Some kind of learning is happening now, right? It's not, maybe you feel it's not very important, but it is important. It adds a lot of value to your life skills. Hmm? Similarly, develop the habit of reading. Nowadays, there are many other ways you can listen to podcast, you can listen to even books. Okay, so read, you can discuss the topic, have a group of friends, you discuss different topics. So all the ways you can improve your intellectual brain. And students, I want to tell you, there are a lot of psychometric tests which can help you to identify whether you are a person with a left or right brain, whether your learning style. Some people are visual learners, some are auditory, some are kinesthetic. Okay, so you can identify your learning style and personality type. Actually, I have all this. In maybe in the future sessions, I'll be able to help you to identify this. Otherwise, you have to take test. It's very helpful for you to improve your self-awareness so that you can find the correct strategies for your own development. Social health. I know you all have friends, and you should be enough sensible to choose the right friends. Even laughing therapy, there is a therapy called a laughing therapy. It's good for our mental health. It's good for our social intelligence. And you can create social groups, even in school, in the family. And you can spend time with people who make you really feel good. You can watch TV, but you should limit it. Don't binge watch it. Serial after serial is not good. And similarly, if you have the habit of playing video games are good for brain development to a certain extent. I want to underline that. If you spend 1 or 2 hours playing video games, which is good for the brain, but if you spend more than that, can damage your brain cells. Okay, so be careful. But it's important you have to maintain your social health. Even doing some adventurous activities, all this will be helpful to maintain your social health. Finding somebody new, having a new friend, joining any clubs. There are a lot of clubs which will be helpful for you to improve your social skills, your communication skills, your interpersonal skills. Many things are there. Now, the last one is um, strategies. Yes, dear. Go ahead. Who? You're muted. You're muted, dear. I can see. Yeah.
I accidentally raised my hand. Sorry.
Say again.
Ma'am, I accidentally did it. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Okay. So there are sessions which is related with study skills. So I'm not going in depth. Okay. But I'll tell you one strategy which is very helpful for everybody who is sitting there, sitting here. Maybe you heard about SQ3R. Are you heard about this? SQ3R. That is one of the
No.
No.
most brilliant study techniques. You can write it down, SQ3R. Here, the S is for survey. Okay. So suppose you start reading respiratory system. So you have the chapter in front of you and you're reading respiratory system. So survey means you quickly go through all the headings, subheadings, the first sentence of each paragraph and the last summary. That is S. Then you Q. Q means you create a lot of questions. So what is respiratory system? What are the elements of respiratory system? What are the functions of respiratory system? Okay, that are the kind of questions you have to jot down. Then 3R. Number one, the first R is now you have to read. When you read, try to understand each and every sentence. Okay, highlight the important keywords. When you highlight, you use you can use colors like yellow, green, which is very helpful for you to improve your visual memory. Circle, underline, do everything, write down keywords. Okay, so take more time to read. Then next R is for recite. When you recite, you close your books and try to recollect what is there in your memory. And next time when you revise it, you will be looking for the information what you missed. Okay, don't read it again and again. That is not helpful. So if you follow this kind of study pattern, will be very helpful to improve your comprehension and memory. SQ 3R. S for survey, Q for question, R for reading, recite, and revise. Okay. So these are the various type of self-cares, what we mentioned now. And spiritual is something which I didn't explain. You know that very well. Spirituality and connecting with the Almighty is always good, which will give you a lot of confidence and a sense of, like a cleanliness in your mind, a clean mindset. See, most of the students, they started worrying about the result. So what I would say after completing the exam, please stop thinking about it. You can stop worrying about the result. Let it come and we will see. I have a video for you which will explain how the stress is going to affect the brain. But should I play? Yeah, we play for you.
Are you sleeping restlessly, feeling irritable or moody, forgetting little things, and feeling overwhelmed and isolated? Don't worry, we've all been there. You're probably just stressed out. Stress isn't always a bad thing. It can be handy for a burst of extra energy and focus, like when you're playing a competitive sport or have to speak in public. But when it's continuous, the kind most of us face day in and day out, it actually begins to change your brain. Chronic stress, like being overworked or having arguments at home, can affect brain size, its structure, and how it functions, right down to the level of your genes. Stress begins with something called the hypothalamus pituitary adrenal axis, a series of interactions between endocrine glands in the brain and on the kidney, which controls your body's reaction to stress. When your brain detects a stressful situation, your HPA axis is instantly activated and releases a hormone called cortisol, which primes your body for instant action. But high levels of cortisol over long periods of time wreak havoc on your brain. For example, chronic stress increases the activity level and number of neural connections in the amygdala, your brain's fear center. And as levels of cortisol rise, electric signals in your hippocampus, the part of the brain associated with learning, memories, and stress control, deteriorate. The hippocampus also inhibits the activity of the HPA axis, so when it weakens, so does your ability to control your stress. That's not all though. Cortisol can literally cause your brain to shrink in size. Too much of it results in the loss of synaptic connections between neurons and the shrinking of your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain that regulates behaviors like concentration, decision-making, judgment, and social interaction. It also leads to fewer new brain cells being made in the hippocampus. This means chronic stress might make it harder for you to learn and remember things, and also set the stage for more serious mental problems like depression and eventually Alzheimer's disease. The effects of stress may filter right down to your brain's DNA. An experiment showed that the amount of nurturing a mother rat provides its newborn baby plays a part in determining how that baby responds to stress later in life. The pups of nurturing moms turned out less sensitive to stress because their brains developed more cortisol receptors, which stick to cortisol and dampen the stress response. The pups of negligent moms had the opposite outcome, and so became more sensitive to stress throughout life. These are considered epigenetic changes, meaning that they affect which genes are expressed without directly changing the genetic code. And these changes can be reversed if the moms are swapped. But there's a surprising result. The epigenetic changes caused by one single mother rat were passed down to many generations of rats after her. In other words, the results of these actions were inheritable. It's not all bad news, though. There are many ways to reverse what cortisol does to your stressed brain. The most powerful weapons are exercise and meditation, which involves breathing deeply and being aware and focused on your surroundings. Both of these activities decrease your stress and increase the size of the hippocampus, thereby improving your memory. So don't feel defeated by the pressures of daily life. Get in control of your stress before it takes control of you.
Yes. So, what is you learning from this video? There are two major points. Can anybody tell me?
That stress has a large effect on you and others.
Yeah.
Cortisol,
What happened to the brain?
becomes smaller.
Like
Yes,
stress
it
and
gets
heart reduced.
shrinked. And what is the genetic connection? It
It
can
can get
pass.
passed down.
Yeah, so sad, you know. Even if you are a person who is very um, not very positive and hardly get into stressful conditions. But if you have a genetic, probably later in your stage, you have a tendency to get into this kind of issues like anxiety and stress. So, what I would like to tell you here is the stress, if you are not controlling your stress, this is something which is leading to anxiety and anxiety disorders. Okay, then see, I have now in our session, we discuss different strategies. And if you feel like none of the strategies are working, you can talk to the counselor. And many students have that stigma, why should I talk my problem to someone else? Which is totally wrong. Okay, you are talking to a professional. And apart from all this, when you express your feeling to somebody, you get such a relief. And they are professionals and they'll be able to give you proper solutions so that you are not worsening the condition. You know, from the beginning, if you're, see, early intervention is the very best thing. If you can treat it, if you can identify the problem and eradicate or treat the problem from the beginning, will be very helpful. And apart from this, there are so many apps available now. Okay, everything is available in our fingertips. So if you wanted to practice complete relaxation, you can use guided meditation, stress-free life. These are all various apps. Mindfulness app, calm app, like which can induce sleep, relaxation, Om One. All these are various app which is available now. And we need to understand different techniques work for different people, but you can try all these techniques. You can try to experiment it. If you feel like nothing is working for you, you tried everything, but if you're still anxious, you need to seek support. Most of the schools have counselors or psychologists. They are very professionally trained, so better uh, made to maintain that healthy life, to maintain your wellness, it is so, so important. You need to identify the problem and get rid of it from the very beginning. Okay. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed the session, dear. What is your feeling? How was it?
It was amazing. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you so much, Arwa. Okay, see you all. Bye. Take care. Have a good day.
Bye. Take
You
care.
too.
Thank you.
Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.